Recruitment for Arknight's Enfield Beta Test 2 has officially begun. Head to enfield.griffline.com and complete the recruitment survey for a chance to join Beta Test 2 when it starts on November 28th.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special Kind of Funny Gamescast for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Christmas in November, Joey Noel.
So close to December.
It's so close. But do you like that or not like that? Like, your name, when it's Christmas in April, I think that's really quaint.
Yeah.
Christmas in December, like people don't get the reference anymore.
Yeah, then it's just...
Maybe you stay off content during December.
Yeah.
Christmas when it's
Joey
supposed to
takes
be.
a pause during December.
Next to you, it's Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. New York Game Awards nominated, a.k.a. Leftover Poppy Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good day, Greg.
Hey, good day to you.
Thank you.
And next to Blessing, it's our esteemed guest, everybody. Let me break out the full title, all right? New York Times Games and Puzzle editor and published author of the New York Times Games Puzzle Mania book. It's Joel Fagliano. Hello, Joel.
Yay!
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you for coming, Joel. This is a very big deal. You know, we get a lot of cold emails. Hey, this person was a background extra in this movie. Do you want to talk to him? And I'm like, I don't even respond. I throw them away. This one came through of like, hey, the New York Times games editor wrote a book called Puzzle Mania. Do you want it? And that was an immediate,
that was a quick reply.
1 minute less. Hey, yes, we want it. Can we get Joel in the office? Or like, I guess we could get him in the office. Thank you for coming through, Joel.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here.
We're going to get into all of this, the new book, everything going on. Blessing's got bones to pick already about today's connections in the New
Today's
York Times.
connections are messed
All right,
up.
bring it on. Bring it on.
But before that, I will remind you, of course, that this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we run you through the biggest topics in video games, whether they be reviews, previews, interviews, like our Aaron Paul interview that will be the second half of this episode. Of course, Dispatches Aaron Paul. I guess he was in a show called Breaking Bad too, but Dispatch.
Vaguely heard of it.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. A
I've been
Need
in
for
this office
Speed
watched
movie,
it.
maybe you know him from that. We do that each and every weekday on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, and podcast services around the globe. If you like that, pick up a Kind of Funny membership. Of course, patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple and Spotify. You can toss us $10. Get all of our content ad-free. That's more than 80 episodes a month. And of course, your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a 15 to 20-minute podcast we call Greg Way. If you have questions for Joel or you want to pick bones about Wordle, the Mini, any other New York Times games, let us know in your super chats. We'd love to hear from you on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Housekeeping for you. Remember, we're an 11-person small business all about live talk shows. Kind of Funny Games Daily already covered the Zelda movie news and images. And after this, it's the Kind of Funny podcast that I guarantee you is going to be an instant classic. You will not want to miss this episode.
I saw your post about this over the weekend, and I was scared.
I'm calling my shot. I'm Babe Ruth. Bless. This is going to be an episode.
Listen, I'm looking forward to it.
Joel,
I'm scared.
I'd like to make sure you are out of the building before we start this episode of the Kind of Funny podcast, if you don't mind. I respect you too much for you to be here for this.
Appreciate it.
After that, it's going to be Bless and Andy beating Elden Ring Night Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
excited about them.
It's been like probably the longest playthrough I've had of a video game this year.
Yeah.
Of starting it back in May when it came out and still having not beaten the final boss. So Andy's going to get me there.
Okay, good. That's what I want to hear.
Game of the year time. Everyone's
Game
trying
of
to
the year
finish
time.
everything up.
If
yeah.
you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Greg Way is all about the Outer Worlds 2 versus Starfield for something like 17 minutes. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney the Psalm Twining. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be topic of the show. Tots. Joel, your topic of the show. You have a new book called Puzzle Mania. I feel like there are so many places to start. When, again, the official title is New York Times Games and Puzzle Editor.
You don't have to do it with the glasses.
I do.
You know?
I'm nearsighted or farsighted, whatever makes it work better that way. What is that job?
Yeah, that's fair. That's basically the main question I always get is like, oh, you're a puzzle editor? You just like sit around and do puzzles all day? That would be a fun job. That's not really what we do. But I work on the mini crossword. Have you ever solved the mini crossword?
The mini is
Starfield.
my
Our
all-time favorite.
I
Okay.
think you say you work on it, but you're also heralded as the creator of the
I created it. Yeah, maybe that was a little humble brag.
Wow.
rare air here, everybody.
Work on it. Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you get all the
Okay.
fanfare.
Yeah. So basically, we have a team of editors. We've got somebody who works on the Wordle, somebody works on the connections. I work on the mini. We all work on what we call the big crossword, which is the daily crossword, the super hard one. And together every day, we're responsible for daily set of
Driving
games
people crazy.
and driving people crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many editors are there? You say, you all work in different stuff, but how many people are the puzzle?
Yeah, we've got 7 now. So that includes Will Shorts, the longtime legend of the puzzle world, who I kind of
You were an intern with, right?
apprenticed
Or
with,
for.
for lack of a better word. Winna Lou, who does connections. Sam Bazerski, who does spelling bee, and many others.
So it's one person like per game.
Yeah, it's kind of everyone has their own little kingdom, you know? But then we all give input on each other's games. So I was like the main connections tester for a long time.
In the live chat, Comic Sam's 3 says, Connections is my personal hell.
We kind of like it that way, to be honest with you. It's fun to have a range of difficulties of games. Wordle, I don't think is anyone's personal hell. It's just sort of like a nice warm blanket.
Yeah.
Everybody can do Wordle.
It's a good warm-up.
Connections is supposed to, give you a couple slaps every now and then.
So, Blessing, pick your bone.
Well, I don't even want to start off with picking my bone, because honestly, the bone to pick was just that today's connections whooped my ass.
Yeah.
I guess to start off with that, right? I guess, how do you guys determine the difficulty on a given day of a game? I feel like I could wake up and do the connections on a Monday and maybe be able to nail it, and then on a Tuesday, I'm like, what is this? What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, we want it to be solvable, right? We want you to have fun. So we're starting there. All the puzzles are tested first by one of the editors and then by a whole panel of people to make sure, it's just play testing, basically.
Yeah.
And to get feedback and to make sure the thing is solvable. So before we put it out in the world, we have that. That being said, then you put it out to an audience of millions and you find out for real whether you did, your job right.
Yeah.
So much of puzzling is subjective, I would say. With connections in particular, some of the blue and the purple categories, if you know what that means, purple's the evil one.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, the blue ones often got like pop culture, like know it or you don't. Like, I don't know. There are people who do purple first. I don't know if you're one of these people.
Well, I'm not one of those people. I slowly have started becoming one of those people though, because I saw, there was some creator on TikTok that was doing like the thing where it is, I have to get the purple first or else I lose. And I think that's the coolest way to play it.
It's almost
that's
like a
so
self-determined way of like adding a level to the game. It's like, I'm just going to sit here and figure them all out without making the guesses. And so like as the puzzle editors, like we're just constantly trying to figure out, like, for example, you really shouldn't overlap a purple category with something that's, know it or don't. Like if you have something that's crazy wordplay and then there's a 5th member that could be in it, but that's in another category, people are dead.
Oh, let me tell you about today's. Today's had one where I was like, certainly this is the thing, right? Because it's all part of the same category. Hit it? Absolutely not it.
Okay, but I'm curious. So like one of the things I think that's built in to make connections a little fair is that when you have those 4 at the end left, like you could just reveal them. You don't really need to know.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get people just to that. Like maybe they won't actually get that last category on their own, but like lots of people like to figure it out on their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, between connections, the mini crossword, spelling bee, all these things, what makes a New York Times game?
Yeah. That's a great question. So it needs to be clever and rewarding are kind of 2 words that come to mind. Because like the reason to do a puzzle is to feel better about yourself ultimately. I feel like
You don't want to keep ruining people's days.
No, you don't want to just like knock people's ego down a peg. Like you want people to at the end be like, damn, I'm really clever. Like I got that. So that's part of our hallmark. And then, I mean, I just think what has to separate our games from other games, they have to feel like a good use of your time. That's always what comes down to me. Like there's so many ways to spend your time now. I think what makes New York Times games, why people come back to it is like, yeah, that was a good use of my 5 or 10 minutes. I actually feel like I worked my brain. I got smarter. And now with all these social elements of the game, the way that people can then share it to their group chat, talk to their family about
We made
like
a whole Slack channel just to share all of our stuff, which has provided different amounts of frustration with each other.
Yeah. That's kind of new because it used to be puzzling. Like when I was growing up, it was just the crossword, right? That was kind of the main thing the New York Times did. Like not that many people solved crosswords with other people. It was just like I sit with my coffee in the morning, I do my crossword. But now with the Wordle, with like you do your puzzle and then there's this whole thing afterwards where you get to like kind of talk to people like, oh, I got it in 3. Like, what'd you get it in? That sort of thing. And that's added a new dimension to our games, I would say.
The thing that really dominated our Slack channel, I think, was
the mini.
It was the mini crossword, and it was specifically sharing our times.
Yeah.
It was seeing who can solve the mini crossword the fastest, which was never me. Which
It's always me and Lucy.
Yes, it was always Joey and Lucy. How often do you see people metagame the crosswords or metagame like the NYT games? Like, do you see a lot of people create their own fun out of it?
Totally. And the mini is a great example of that. So like when we started the mini, the whole idea was, I mean, if you've done the bigger one, it's super hard. It's just really hard.
I have a shot at Monday, and that's about it.
Yeah, and it's got this built-in difficulty curve. So Monday's the easiest. Saturday's like the hardest thing you've ever seen. And a lot of people don't even know about that built-in difficulty curve. So they might show up to the app on a Friday and be like,
Oh, that's tough.
let me try a crossword today. And it's like, whoa. And so the mini was intended to be just a reason to come back every day, something you could solve. When I started making it, I quickly realized, like, no, it's actually just a different audience of people. It's not a ramp up to this other game. There's a whole set of people who, like being competitive about their time. So they're like, okay, now that I know that I can do this in, let's call it under 2 minutes every day, now I want to challenge both myself, like, can I get my fastest time? But almost more importantly, like, can I beat my friends and family at this? So with my goal of making the puzzle, though, is like, sure, I could just do pet that meows for cat, right? Like, that would make it easy.
Yeah.
And some people would go fast, but it wouldn't go back to what I said before. Like, it just wouldn't have that clever and rewarding thing. So the fine line is like something that's easy and yet still feels like it fits in. Yeah.
So my question then, I guess, is from the book, of course, Puzzle Mania, available now. An amazing. They're not sponsoring. They should sponsor. Oh, Kevin's got the full thing. It's how many puzzles are inside of the book. First off, I guess
Hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
sure the
Like,
exact number,
if you have someone in your life who loves the games like we love the games here, so such a great
Holiday
one to
gift.
put. I'm really upset that I said Joey could have this one.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to get my copy to have on the coffee table ready to go. But in the opening here, your letter. Like, I talked to you, before we came on, of if you're a kind of funny best friend and you're watching this, and not just somebody in the chat mad that we're not interviewing Aaron Paul yet. I think it's worth, calling out of, like, I see so much of my story in yours, where I obviously have wanted to do this forever, and everybody's heard my story of since the 4th grade, yada, yada, yada. And yours is so the same way, right? Where you're talking about in the 10th grade, I started to notice that the puzzles had bylines, which is like pulled from my story about this, right? I became obsessive about crosswords, reading every puzzle blog I could find, writing down puzzle ideas in the margins of my notebooks, doodling little grids in class. I began sending my puzzles to the New York Times. Many polite rejections later, I had my first crossword accepted and published during my senior year of high school. That then goes on to you.
I think I even put one of the doodles in the
you
book.
You did, yeah. I was swimming around there. Yeah,
it starts
bored,
with bored.
alive, Yemen.
Yeah.
I wonder where that one starts.
Bored
from,
alive,
right?
yeah.
But then it continues to go on, and like obviously the puzzles have been in your life for so long. And then I love this over here where you talk about, you give, Wordle enters the picture here. You talk about, Josh Wardle making it for his partner. And then overnight, the number of people playing the mini doubled. It felt like we were an indie band that suddenly was selling out stadiums. Playing New York Times games became inexplicably cool. Perhaps most gratifying, though, puzzles, which had always been a solitary activity associated with sleepy Sunday mornings on the sofa, were now being played as a social activity. You talk about being on the subway and seeing people with the app and all this. Like,
it was trippy.
But I mean, what is that like? Because that's it's a similar thing of, like, for me growing up, games being games were my thing. They were a nerdy thing. My friends dabbled, but they didn't play games like I play games. Where now video games are just pop culture. Everybody plays games. What you're living that still to this day to some degree, where the crossword, which I always thought of like as Grandma Miller's thing, not as something contemporaries were doing, is suddenly cool.
And that's, I didn't tell this story in the book. I'm not sure if I've ever told this story, but my first crossword.
Exclusive, everybody.
To this show. So my first crossword ever in the Times was, I was a senior in high school, and it came out, and like, it was a huge day for me. I was super excited. I had told nobody, none of my friends knew that I had basically spent 2 years at that point submitting crosswords to the New York Times.
They didn't know you were doing that?
They did not know.
Oh,
Did they know that you were like?
They knew that I was like into crosswords because
Yeah.
like we would do the commuter one. Like, I grew up in Philly, so we would do like the Philadelphia Inquirer and like the Metro one, and we would race in class and see who could do them the quickest, and I would win. So they knew that I was good at it.
No big deal.
But I didn't tell anyone because it was just sort of like this little secret project I had. I was just like, I don't really know if they like know that I do this at that level. And then so basically I got a call from the principal today, and they said, come down, they say, come down to the office, and everyone's go, oh, and I go down, and she's like, you have a puzzle in the New York Times today? Like, we've printed it out. We're going to we have a little tray, and we're going to give it out to everybody. And I go back up into class. We had those smart boards.
Yeah.
And they're all looking at the puzzle and like reading the blog about it. And they all thought it was super cool. They're all like, oh, that's amazing.
That's
and I felt
awesome.
I feel sort of ashamed about it in retrospect. Like, I should have just embraced my inner nerd at that point.
Yeah.
But I think I hadn't admitted to myself yet, like, no, this is my thing. Like, even though I have many other, like, this is what my calling is. And then, like, even then, I don't think I quite believed it until I interned with Will Shorts and worked with him for a while. I was like, I can do this. But yeah.
You talk about it a bit in the intro letter there, which again is for the audience, very brief. Like, this isn't an autobiography. I want to make sure it's
Yeah, it's a book, but there's not much writing.
You pack it. Yeah, it's just puzzles. It's a
Just
great way to
puzzles,
go.
yeah.
But like, for people who don't know, who is Will?
Oh, yeah. So Will Shortz has been the editor of the New York Times crossword since 1993. Before that, he edited a magazine called Games. I'm trying to think of a corollary for him in like other American life. He's just a larger than life puzzle figure. Like, this is a guy who, in the 1970s at Indiana University, created his own major. He called it enigmatology.
Oh my God.
And he made up a
Wild.
puzzle major for himself and was just like, talk about knowing what you want to be. Like, he knew, and he pursued it when there was just like not even careers that were available. He just made the whole thing, kind of like built the whole thing himself. And so going to work for him when I was like 17, it was insane. Like, you're sitting in his office, like spitballing clues with him. I think in the book I say it was like, you like basketball, and it's like, oh, do you want to play horse with Michael Jordan? It's like, yeah, I think that sounds fun. I think I would do that. Like, so, and then, you would just be going back and forth, and I would say, maybe we clue it this way. And he would be, all right. And it would go in the New York Times. And I was like, you're listening to me? Like, are you sure? You would think about that a little longer. And so we've just had a good working relationship. I was his assistant for a long time, and now we just both are lead puzzle editors at the Times. Yeah.
Question from me, because there was something in your story that scared me. How old are you?
Me right now? I'm 33.
Nice.
When he said smart boards in high school, I was like, oh no, oh no, we're not the same.
So throughout all this time, learning and understanding how to create all these puzzles, what are some of the guiding principles that you have as a puzzle
great
editor to create a good puzzle?
Sure. So the first thing is you have to think of the solver first. Like, a lot of people make puzzles for themselves, and that's like kind of the cardinal sin. Like, you're loading it with references that only you know, or things that you find funny, but other people like, I don't really like that pun so much, whatever. So the first thing is understand who your audience is and who you are, who you're going to serve up this puzzle to, and kind of what they're looking for it in. That was a big thing with the mini, was understanding, oh no, it's like a new audience, and trying to understand the scope of people who were doing it. And then, there are a lot of tools now, like computer tools, to help make puzzles. So I think a big thing is just studying up on the best puzzles now are made by a combination of human brain and computer tools. Like, just straight computer-made puzzles they're getting a little better, but they're still soulless and they don't really feel like it. I think people still want they want to solve something made by a human. They want to connect with another person. Like, that's part of the things with connections. Is people get so mad at connections, but the fact that there's a human on the other end of the line, Winna, it was something that came out of Winna's brain. You can just curse Winna to the heavens, that's something. Like, that to me is something. So I think the second point is just familiarize yourself. And there's all these free tools online, like some called Crossword Compiler and Crossfire, that you can just download and start making crosswords yourself. Yeah, if you're interested.
So talking about these things coming from somebody's brain, right? Like, that came from their brain of what that connections is. How tough is it? Because we have the show called Game Showdown, where I create trivia all the time for the guys to solve.
Yeah.
The biggest struggle that I have when creating trivia is creating something from scratch, starting from zero and going, all right, what topic, what game, what thing am I going to reference to try and pull trivia out from it? How do you figure out ideas from scratch?
Yeah. The blank canvas is terrifying.
Yeah.
Blank canvas is terrifying.
Yeah.
And I've made the mini every day since 2014, so it's like 4,000 odd minis.
Jeez.
And so, like, at a certain
And the
point,
fact that you do it solo is so impressive too, of like, not, you have obviously the rest of the editors to bounce around, but that's like a lot of pressure to build one for every day.
Yeah. And so, for me, it's casting around. So I always keep a notebook with me. So, like, I find that just like walking around or in the morning, early in the morning, something pops in your head, you can write it down. Sometimes you don't even develop it then, but then you just come back later and you're like, okay, so there's something with that idea, these two crossing, and they've referenced each other. How can I make a puzzle out of that? It's funny you mentioned trivia. There's actually a bunch of trivia in the book. And another thing I didn't mention, I didn't mention this in the book because it was kind of for me, but a lot of the trivia in the book is trivia I made for my brothers for like road trips we do.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I have a brother in LA and we go out and visit him. And I don't know, when you're making a puzzle, it is just really important to be like, okay, who's solving it? What's the sort of topics they're going to like? What's the sort of stuff they're going to react to? Sometimes that's your starting point. It's just like, okay, my little brother's really into skateboarding. Is there like an interesting skateboarding, like how do I make it appealing to my older brother too, who's not as into it, but maybe there's a way I can find a way to like make it more general. And then you just start making constraints. Constraints help, and then you go from there. Yeah.
Sounds like you're always seeing the Matrix. Like, it sounds like your brain is constantly at work, like seeing things, making puzzles out of them.
My wife's always saying, remember like in the Queen's Gambit when she like looks up at the ceiling and she's seeing all the pieces move? That's yeah, that's like what me, but with letters just like floating around.
Does she see
I
you
am
drift
always
your
like
mid-conversation at dinner, and she's like, "Are you thinking of something?" A quick
My fingers are kind of like swirling, but it's just like, if you're walking around on the street, like you see a street sign, like I'll just anagram it a little bit, or I'll just see like, oh, if you remove the first letter, like what does that spell? You just never know. Sometimes stuff comes out of that, but that's probably where my brain works differently than other people.
Do you still play puzzle games? Like, do you ever check out? I know Blueprints is one of the most popular like puzzle games that came out this year for video games. Are you checking those things out, or now are you solely focused on making the puzzles?
Yeah, I used to be much more into playing word games, but then since it became my job, like when it is like all I do all day basically. It's not really something I do as much to unwind anymore. I feel sort of like sad admitting that, but it's true. I just like have other
We all
things.
understand that.
Yeah.
And I really don't play as much. But then when I go check out the suite of games that LinkedIn now has, like a suite of games, I'll go play their game.
I didn't either.
Yeah, they're actually pretty
Yeah, I should
good.
start using
And
LinkedIn more.
you can go and play other people's games and see like kind of what's happening in the puzzle game space. I find that helpful. Yeah.
For doing the mini for so long, 4,000 plus, do you have like a database spreadsheet? Like, do you ever like, wait, have I done that before? Do you worry about that, doing it again? Like,
Totally worry about redoing
Okay.
myself. Yeah. So we have an internal database that I can search every word and see how it's been clued in the past.
Okay.
And also click to that puzzle and go
oh,
see.
that's awesome.
And I have redone ideas and then caught them, be like, oh, okay, I did that in 2018. Can't do it again, type of thing. Yeah. Probably I'm the only person who cares and remembers. But
exactly.
It still feels like just right.
Well, you say that. I have to imagine like it's different for sure, but I remember working at a newspaper, and I remember coming in the morning and opening my voicemail and picking it up, and the hate mail I got of people being so mad about something I did in an article or said in an article or whatever. Do you guys have that where you're fielding people who are just like blessing, constantly pissed about connections?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's part of the relationship people have to our games. I wouldn't call it love-hate. It's mostly love.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
most
yeah,
people, I would say the average person. So now that I'm doing this book tour for Puzzle Mania, like all the
Available
events available now in stores near you, all the events are like positive, and people are just coming up. Hey, it's a big part of my day. I really like it. Go online though. Go
Yeah.
online.
We know online hate very well.
And I mean, first of all, a lot of people who do our games are careful, smart people. So if there's an error, like thousands of people are catching that. Like
Yeah.
the smallest factual thing. So that's why the games are so heavily vetted before they go out. But also people just like, stumping someone in a puzzle, if you do it in a satisfying way, is great. If you do it in a frustrating way, in a way that they don't feel paid off, then they feel like you wasted their time, sort of. Like, oh, that didn't pay off for me, what you were trying to do there to stump me. And so then, yeah, you get a little bit of anger that way. But we have a big platform. It's a part of what comes with it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What kind of research do you do to like come up with these clues? Like, are you a big reader? Are you just like intaking a lot of news and pop culture? Like, it seems like you kind of cover so many different topics and clues that you just have to like acquire so much knowledge in general. How does that process look?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a huge reader. I try to read widely, and I try to keep at least just a finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world, just to see if it can inform the puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say a big part of the puzzle creation process, like for the cluing for the crossword, is just research then. So like you've put something in the puzzle and now just go read about it. And so that's just reading, like dictionaries, but also just reading, can I find the fun fact about like the emu or whatever? There are certain Wikipedia pages that I think I alone in the world have visited more than anyone else, like the Oreo Wikipedia page, to try to find anything new.
Don't get ahead of
Oh, you
yourself.
might
All right.
actually have a contender.
I have an Oreo show, sir. All right. My next question would be, I don't know, I might be thinking too much and I might be applying too much of modern society to it. But in the olden days, you're talking about bylines on puzzles and how this was and yada, yada, yada. But I feel like before the advent of social media and the connections and blah, 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 people making the puzzles must have had a very like, you're off over there and it's quiet, and I don't feel like the spotlight was shined on them. Now, obviously you're on a podcast. I've seen other NYT games editors interviewed and on things like that. But even in the book, one of the things I really love are the like editor profile pages where you go and there's this like, Q&A with them and then your favorite puzzles and stuff like that. In your time there, or at least since even being an intern and seeing it grow, was there ever a point where New York Times didn't want to lean into personalities? They wanted you to kind of be like, you're the Supreme Court, you're over there doing your thing, you're quiet, the puzzles speak for themselves. And has there then been a change to bring that to the forefront, personality?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, in the old days, or at least in the kind of like the 90s and early aughts, it was like Will Shortz and then everybody else. Like people would make puzzles, but even the byline in the paper said edited by Will Shortz in really big font and then puzzle by such and such in small font. It was like there was this like the big figurehead and then kind of everybody else.
Yeah.
I always felt like the puzzles were, they were an equal partnership between the puzzle creator and the editor. And so I really always felt like when I was more in charge, I wanted to highlight like who's making these puzzles. Like people should know who the people making the puzzle they solve that day. And then with these kind of more personalized games, like take the spelling bee. Do you guys play the spelling bee?
I have. It's not one that I play like every day.
I get hosed enough where I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, so with the spelling bee, it's like this grid of letters and you're making stuff out of it. But there's an editor who sort of determines what words are on the list. And if it was a faceless dictionary, I think people would just kind of get annoyed, like, oh, okay. But when there's a person there and there's a person, I guess, like the downside, they can tweet at that person, then they feel like they're in interaction with someone. So I do feel like having forward-facing editors has helped us in some ways. I'm not on social media personally, so that's my way of dealing with it.
You're like, I just avoid it.
I pretend like it's not happening, but my friends will like search my name and then like send me screenshots of what people are saying, and that's horrifying in its own way. So like I think all of us are in some ways like a little uncomfortable with how much we are kind of the dartboards for all this stuff.
Yeah.
But in other ways, it helps promote the games to just know that there's like a person. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It sounds like it's covered in the book, but do you have any favorite puzzles that either you've done for the mini crossword or that other editors have worked on?
Yeah, I mean, so I should say about the book. So the book is...
Talk about the book. You're on a book tour right now. What other
book.
cities are you going to? Where can the people find you?
Well, I'll be at 2 bookstores today in the SF area, but so the book is basically a mixture. So there's puzzles based around Wordle, Connections, Spelling Bee, all strands, all the games you know from New York Times games, and then a ton of visual puzzles, a ton of, so that's like...
This is your section.
That's my section. There's a collection of my favorite minis I've ever made and also my
go.
favorite mini clues.
Nice.
What I wanted the book to feel like was just basically everything New York Times games is now. So, it's got these distillations of the games but also a lot of things maybe you've never seen before. There's kind of crazy variants. Like there's a crossword that's called a vowel-less crossword. There's no vowels in it. So everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's just the consonants.
That's nuts.
Yeah. That's kind of towards the back where I stuck some of the hardest stuff.
Yeah.
But I have another favorite
it ramps
puzzle.
up as you go. It gets crazy.
Yeah, I have another favorite puzzle in there. It's in the front.
You can show it off if you want to.
Yeah, sure. It's called emojiography. So it's something, again, that started, I made it for my brothers, but how it looks. Geography. See if it's showing up. So the clue to every single one of these is a series of emojis that clue a place name in the world. You might have a picture of Santa, and then this boat, that would be Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz. Yeah.
Oh, he's going sicko mode. That's pretty
And so there's a bunch of those. I don't know. They all make me laugh. They're pretty stupid, but they're the sort of thing that I enjoy. And so there's like original types of puzzles in here too, stuff you've never seen.
Bless,
I want to
hold it
basically
up.
you
I think
flip the
Kevin's gonna do
page.
digital zoom for you.
Yeah, I want you to basically you flip the page and you don't know what's coming. There's not really sections to the book. It's just each page is like, oh, right after this, there's like a series of like Minesweepers, and you can play like Minesweeper and print stuff like that. So it's just a mixture.
Can you talk about the process of developing new games that you're adding to this suite? Not necessarily things you have coming up, but like I remember when Strands got added, or at least maybe got more.
The new one's
Limelight.
Pips. Have you guys
I haven't
played
tried. Is that the domino?
It's a domino
one?
game.
Mm-mm,
Yeah, it's like
not
a
yet.
logic domino one.
Yeah. How is that? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, we've got it like within the New York Times games team, we've got a separate team called like the New Game Squad, which is a really fun. It rotates. Anybody can be on it. So like,
I was gonna say, is it like Jets and Sharks, where like the new class is here? It's over for you, Minnie.
it's like if you're an iOS developer, but you're on the New York Times games team, it gives you a chance to be like, I work for the New York Times Games team. I pitch some games. Same thing like marketing people. Anybody can join it, and it rotates. Now, once you pitch a game, there's like 19 steps above that. You know, it has to. We then prototype it. Then we're doing a bunch of like user testing. The main thing we're usually trying to test for is just like, do people come back? Like, is it a game that's sticky that people be like, yes, I will come back and play that the next day. And I will say that like Wordle and Connections set pretty crazy high bars for that.
Yeah.
They're just these incredibly popular and sticky games. So, you know, I've been at the Times now for more than 10 years. In the beginning, definitely in the mini days, it was like the Wild West when we were launching that. We didn't know what we were doing. But then even a couple of years after that, we were just throwing games up, throwing stuff at the wall, see what happens, quick prototype, throw it up there. Do people like it? And now it's like there's many, many, many more bars before we launch a game. Yeah.
Very cool.
I want to hear more about your guys' internal games competition. Like who excels at what?
It's
like what games do you play?
Yeah.
Lucy and Joey.
Lucy and Joey for sure.
I feel like because my thing for the mini is if I don't do it in under a minute, then like it's kind of a wash of a day. And I feel like it's usually Lucy and I competing for that. Barrett, I feel like, is always a big contender.
yeah.
Whether it be for the mini or for Wordle, I feel like Barrett's usually the quickest at.
I forget who's who's competing in Connections. Because I feel like I was heavy into Connections.
Yeah.
I've been on sabbatical
Roger
for a while.
also is like very into Connections, I feel like, too.
Yeah.
I also play. That's the one.
Connections. My thing was because I was never. Again, like I wasn't doing the purple thing of like, all right, I got to go for purple. But
when you get purple first on the rare occasion,
it feels so good.
hits different.
And like I think I'm rusty, admittedly, which is why I came in today and was probably struggling with these Connections. But when I'm locked in on Connections, usually I can do it flawlessly.
Yeah, it is so interesting how all these puzzles are muscle memory of like the more you do them, you like understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they
so with
work.
Wordle, are you like I do the same guess every single
that's
time?
I am.
Damn right.
I am.
You guys, all three of you are?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Let me tell you
What are your starting words?
I think I moved on to sugar at one point. Like
Mine's a rise,
All right.
which was I think recently.
I do aisle.
Wait, did you get it in one that
No,
day?
of course I saw
You
it
skipped.
play out on TikTok before I had played it, and I was like,
that was my
the
thing where
worst.
the not the height because Wordle's humongous still, but like when it was like slowly infecting and it was still indie and it was everybody posting. I remember the day where I put in sugar and it was in one, and it was that thing where then I went and posted it and everybody in my like ats had already been like, oh, Greg's gonna love today's Wordle. Greg's gonna love today's
yeah, I haven't Strands. I've like dabbled in, and I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
that's the next one that like is probably gonna really. I feel like I always play it based on the Times is always or the mini is always my first one.
I think you like Strands. Strands is on the
Yeah.
easier side because with Connections and we had been sort of indexing towards some harder games. Strands is I think easier. But yeah, it's interesting with Wordle. Like I just look around the room and see something and I'm like stove. That's my guess for today.
Oh.
I just like to because like you never know. Maybe
Yeah.
today's gonna be the day that you just hit it. It's rainy out, Like I don't know. It's not a good strategy for getting it more quickly. But to me, it's like keeps the game more interesting. I feel like it would get stale otherwise. But it sounds like maybe not. I don't know.
It's so interesting too because I feel like I have a friend that tried to pick their word, which I can't remember what it is anymore, but based off of like Wheel of Fortune, like what letters are used the most, like combining all of these different puzzle games of what are the most common letters to figuring out to like get that advantage.
Well, there's that Wordlebot thing now. Have you ever interacted
no.
with Wordlebot?
No.
Okay, look up Wordlebot after this.
Okay.
The Times has a thing. It was developed kind of by like the another desk, but basically it analyzes how you played Wordle and breaks it down. And it can be humbling because it'll be like, you chose like the 77th best guess for like given the thing. Yeah. So it's for the sickos.
Yeah. I think that's
So, of course, is your book, Puzzle Mania, available right now. And, of course, obviously, you can go play these games in the New York Times Games app or the New York Times and everywhere else. Joel, thank you for making the time on this book tour to swing on through.
Yeah, it's been great being here.
It's been great. Everybody should pick up the book, especially me and Bless, since Joey's taking this copy. Lame. Everybody, of course, there's more Gamescast, including our interview with Dispatch's Aaron Paul. But before then, I'll remind you that we couldn't do this without your support. Of course, you can pick up your Kinda Funny membership, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, Apple, Spotify, patreon.com/kindafunny. Get all of our shows ad-free and get your daily dose of me in a series we call Greg Way. But right now, you're not using your benefits. So here's a word from our sponsors.
Arknights Enfield is a real-time 3D RPG with strategic elements from publisher Griffline, coming to PlayStation 5, PC, and mobile devices in early 2026. Experience an immersive story and explore the frontier world of Talos 2 as you command a team of up to 4 operators in stylish real-time combat. Gather resources, plan, and construct your production lines with the automated industry complex factory system to feel the true satisfaction of a management sim and to transform the planet through industrial growth. Beta Test 2 is the latest playable experience for Arknights Enfield and introduces a rebuilt storyline, a brand new explorable region, revamped combat, a deepening AIC factory system, multi-platform support, and much more. Recruitment has already begun, and you can visit enfield.griffline.com now to complete the recruitment survey for a chance to join Beta Test 2 when it begins on November 28th. This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. There's a gift that can bring your favorite holiday traditions and memories to life each and every single day, and it's called the Aura Frame. No lie, Aura Frames are undeniably the best gift I have ever given. Family, friends, partners, everyone loves being able to have beautiful frames showing off their loved ones and favorite memories. You can order the frame online and preload it with photos and videos using the Aura app, so it's ready to go right out of the box. There's unlimited storage, so you can add as many photos and videos as you can find. For a limited time, visit auraframes.com and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code KINDAFUNNY at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code KINDAFUNNY. This exclusive Black Friday Cyber Monday deal is their best of the year, so order now before it ends. Support this show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. auraframes.com, promo code KINDAFUNNY. This episode is brought to you by Factor. Fall always feels like there's just so much more stuff to do. Shorter days, busier routines, back to school. It's all just a lot. That's why so many of us here at Kinda Funny love Factor. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. On many occasions, Factor has completely saved Greg and Jen when they needed it most. You can choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good-for-you fats. Eat smart at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code KINDAFUNNY50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. And surprise, we're doing a special live recording of In Review as part of San Francisco Sketch Fest. What movie are we doing? It's a Marvel movie we've been avoiding for years, but it's finally time. It's Howard the Duck, baby. We're doing it live. It's going down on January 28th. Grab a ticket at kindafunny.com/sketchfest before they sell out.
And we're back, everybody. But before we go any further, we're going to see if Blessing can solve Wordle today. He's on his third shot here.
That's crazy that that's not the word.
Spoilers for Wordle art. He went aisle.
Yeah.
He got the I in the wrong position, the E in the right position. Then he went bride, got the I and the E in the right position. Then he went spite, has the P, the I, and the E. In chat, don't shout it out, in the right position. He has 3 guesses left to figure this out.
What would this
Nick, do you
be?
ever Wordle?
I wordled earlier on.
Yeah. When it
And
was
then I
like
got-
sweeping the nation.
Yeah, and then I got stuck in the New York Times mini crossword puzzle.
Which, do you understand Joel created?
I did not know
Joel is
that.
the creator. He makes every mini. He's done
Yeah,
more
I'll be
than
right back.
4,000. Go say
That's crazy.
Go
Hold
tell him before he leaves. I don't do a great job sometimes of introducing people. You know, they walk into the room. And Nick knew that he worked for the New York Times and he had a long conversation with him, but it never came up that he made the mini, which you got to do it. Hey, Barrett, how are you?
Doing well. How
Did
are
you hear all the praise you got? As being a
No,
good-
I did not.
Everybody likes how you're a good performer in the New York Times games.
Oh, thank you. I have not played in a very long time.
Yeah, I know. I need to get back on the horse. I fell out of it too.
Too many other video games.
Yes, exactly.
Got
But
back
here's
to
my
Luminous
thing.
Arise.
Here's my thing of why I like it and why I need to get back.
Tell me about it while I give Nick back his
Yeah,
seat.
of course. I need to get more of the garbage off my phone, where it's like I'll go to TikTok and watch these with the sound. I should be doing Wordle. I should be doing Connect.
No shot that's a word. Look at this.
Opine.
Fine.
Opine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
It's like an opossum.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it to like complain? I don't use it. I'm
This
dumb.
happens all the time, and it's not. It's a bone I'll pick with Joel now that we're best friends.
Hold and state as one's
We're
opinion.
Is
Opine.
occasionally I'll come across that in the MIDI crossword puzzle. I'm like, I've never heard that word before, and I swear to God, it's not a real word. And then I'll Google it, and it's this obscure thing, and I'm like, the clue before that was the word was dance. You know what I mean? Like that's the easiest thing you possibly could get.
I'm sick of all of these coastal elites making us middle of the country people.
So
feel
you're telling me
stupid.
that opine?
You opine every day on the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
But like, it's blown my mind because that must be the same root word as opinion, right? So like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So opinion is the noun, opine is the verb.
I guess so. Yeah,
That's nuts.
that's
I
language,
opine.
everybody.
Wow.
But guess what, everybody? We're done learning about words. Instead, we're going to use them to talk to Aaron, Paul, Blessing, and Nick. And hey, Nick, welcome to the show, by the way.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Bluff.
What the hell happened here? You interviewed Aaron Paul, Nick?
We we were called in for dispatch.
Yeah.
They said we have a couple celebrities for you. Give us your best interviewers.
Yeah.
And so we gave them Blessing, and then they said, now give us your worst interviewer too.
Yeah,
Just to balance it out, just to balance out the scale. So Blessing and I got up and we interviewed. It was supposed to be, I think, Aaron, Paul, and Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey couldn't make it, unfortunately. So we spent a solid 15 minutes, I would say, with Aaron Paul, just having fun.
Just hanging out.
He's a delightful guy. Talking to him about a game that I had zero context for, which was super fun. But
And,
Blessing had
and
played a
plus,
little
you
bit
love
about it.
Dispatch.
I love
obviously.
Dispatch.
So you probably had a lot of great questions for Aaron Paul. But
Oh, absolutely not, because I did not play Dispatch yet as of the time of this interview.
this is how old this interview is,
Yeah.
everybody. We interviewed Aaron Paul, and it was embargoed.
It was embargoed.
And then it was like, then we got going. And then there was a conversation in one meeting about where to insert it.
Yep.
And then I think we all promptly forgot about it because there's 19,000 things going on here every
Always.
day. We moved past, it was during the spoiler cast where I think Barrett was like, didn't we have an interview too? I was like, oh, right, we could have put that in here. We need to find somewhere else. And I figured, hey, we're already doing an interview with Joel from the New York
Yeah, it's
Times.
perfect.
Why not bring this in here as well?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Greg. Yeah, I don't regret the interview.
The interview you're about to see, I don't regret
I don't
it.
regret it. I do wish we could talk to him though after we
Dude,
all
I
played the game though.
I so wish I could talk to him
Because now you know his performance, and this is the thing.
and now I know the
haven't
names
even
of the characters.
I think I'm scheduled to
Now
play
I
it.
know the name of the
I
character.
want to say Andy put me on it at some point this week or next. I might be playing Dispatch my first time. I'm very excited about it. But the one thing that everyone talks about is they're like, dude, it's less about the gameplay and more about just the cutscenes and
Yeah.
the actual story that's being told. And they're like Andy was like, dude, you would love this because it's like an Invincible, The Boys,
Yep.
all this
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
And I'm like, oh man, that would have given us so many more questions to ask Aaron Paul. But instead, honestly, he's a really nice guy, called in from Europe, just living his best life out there. And we had a great time talking.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm following Aaron Paul, all right? I've already tagged him in the story about this interview. When he inevitably sees, oh, Greg's got 100,000 Instagram followers. Thank you, everybody. He'll
you
follow
finally
me
you hit
back.
it? Congratulations.
Yeah, then I say something against Trump and I go down.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I post a comedy clip and I lose 30 every single time I do that. So
When Aaron inevitably follows me back, we'll make sure we get another shot at it so you can come in here and talk about it. But Nick, you really should play Dispatch.
I'm excited to. I'm excited to.
You know what? It could be a fun stream too.
I'm kind of into the
yeah,
Arc
Nick
Raiders
plays
world right
Dispatch.
now,
Come on, Arc Raiders is
but
great.
Dispatch is probably the next game.
I would love to see you play Dispatch and opine about it.
You know, I might opine.
Yeah.
I might opine right now.
Give me your
Loving it.
opine.
I never
I
let
like
this go.
somebody in the chat is already gone. I think is like I've never heard anyone use opine in a sentence. And I'm like, me and Bless are gonna run this into the fucking ground.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And you saw
No.
it start right here. You saw it start.
I'm gonna
right
opine
here.
about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm opining right now.
Before we
I'm
get
opining too.
opine about all the games we were talking about, let's watch this interview. Remember, everybody, that this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. This will finish our episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Up next, of course, if you're watching live on Twitch or YouTube, will be the Kind of Funny Podcast. And you don't want to miss this one. Then, of course, after that is going to be a stream of them beating their Night Rain from Elden Ring. It's going to be a lot of good content. If you're listening or watching later, of course, check those out on podcast services on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Most importantly, get your Kind of Funny membership, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, patreon.com/kindoffunny, Apple, Spotify. Get all of our shows ad-free. Keep this 11-person small business dream alive. And, of course, get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series we call Greg Way. But to end our show right now, it's Blessing, it's Nick, and it's Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul, thank you so much for joining us here. We're really excited to talk about Dispatch. My first question for you, Aaron, is obviously people know you from plenty of TV shows, plenty of movies. What is it about getting into a video game that has been different from those experiences performing in those?
Oh man, well, first of all, I love just the gaming universe. You know, I used to really play, I think probably far too many games.
No such thing.
Is that no?
No.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
once
yeah.
I got married and started having kiddos, I just needed to kind of laser focus elsewhere. But I just really appreciate just the gaming world as a whole. You know, like my brother's a massive gamer, right? And that's where his real community is.
Yeah.
Just other gamers, people that he's never met in real life, but he is so close with, you know, on the headset, right? And I just think that's so beautiful about gaming. And so I've been really spoiled in the animation space, you know, with BoJack. I did that for many years, and so I swore, okay, I'm not going to do another animated thing unless it's really great. I then did a little bit on Invincible,
Which was awesome, by the way.
Thank you, man, thank you. And then I've really, honestly, I've been looking for a game, but I just, you know, some stuff has come my way in the past, but it was just never really, it didn't really hit the mark. But when this came my way, Dispatch came my way, at the core of it, it is a superhero sort of workplace comedy set in modern day Los Angeles, but also very heavy, dramatic, kind of heartfelt moments scattered throughout. And so it really kind of plays with your emotion. It's not just slapstick funny at all, but it really takes you on a journey. And this game in particular, it's a sort of choose your own adventure game. And so it took us a long time to record. It took us 2 years to record this thing. And so the process of recording is very similar to, you know, other animation that I've been involved with, but it's just the pure time was much different. But I think people are going to really resonate with the story that we're telling.
I always think when you're recording these things, and I know, you know, you've seen the behind the scenes and it's you in a VO booth, you don't ever get to really interact with everyone else. Did you guys actually get to do scenes together, like you and Jeff did?
I wish that was the case,
Yeah.
but no, because it just took so long to do it. And so a lot of the time I had in my headphones the other audio that had been previously recorded from other cast members. I mean, that wasn't always the case.
That's pretty standard. That's pretty standard.
Pretty standard, but I mean, I just worked on it for so long, and so
What's the time commitment look like for that versus like your stint on Invincible?
I mean, Invincible, I went into the sound booth, I think 3 different times. And that's it. You know, I did a couple episodes, and then they asked me to come back, but for the next season. But I got to tell you that show I'm such a fan of. I watch every episode. I love it, but it was just way too grueling on my psyche. You know, it was like such an
your
emotional.
character in specifically was a little intense.
So much. I have such
Powerplex was intense.
respect. Yeah, such respect for what they're doing. But Powerplex, man, it really, because he's not just messing around. I mean, he's going through like turmoil, you know, and I just, how I approach everything I do, I really put myself in that skin. And it was a skin I didn't feel comfortable in, you know, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't want to do it anymore. I'm like, I love you guys. I really do. And the thing is, everyone involved in that camp is amazing, you know, but what it did to me, I didn't like. And so I couldn't continue. Yeah.
That's bold and awesome. That's
really cool.
That's crazy. I mean, that show is very, very intense. I imagine that Dispatch is a little bit more lighter vibe.
It's definitely lighter vibe, but just because there's just such funny elements to this show or to this game. But also, like I said before, there's gonna be moments that really surprise the gamer. You know, gonna shock them a little bit.
And this is seasonal, right? That we're releasing sort of like episodically. Or am I wrong on that?
Oh, they're releasing like I believe a few episodes or maybe like a part of it. Day one, and then you're getting more of it
I think
later.
you're going to be able to play the first chunk for a little bit and then, you know, go on. But
Yeah. A question I have for you is, we're talking about your history in animation, going from BoJack Horseman, going into Invincible, and now, Dispatch. It's a video game, but also it leans very heavily on this is a cinematic animated sort of property, right? You look at it and you look at it and you think this is something that you could watch on Amazon Prime. You know what I mean? Is there? Do you have like a specific kind of taste when it comes to the type of projects that you like to be in? Because I think that Venn diagram between a BoJack and Invincible and Dispatch feels like it fits kind of in that like nice little middle.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. But I do have. It's just about the story. I mean, when you're watching a movie, TV, playing a game, the story's got to be there. If it's not like an interesting narrative, like let's say within a game, if you're playing a game and you're not interested in these characters and the journey they're on, you're going to turn it off, right? And what's so unique about this is you can play it one way, you can finish it, and if you want to play it again and just choose just the polar opposite of what your gut wants you to choose, you can go down a completely different journey, a completely different path. And it's just got to be, the writing's got to be good. And then, hopefully you like the people behind it. And then you kind of march forward.
Have you gotten a chance to play it yet?
I got to play like a little test, demo of it. I got to do that when I was recording sort of like the final 2 months of the record. I got to mess around with it a little bit. But yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
Do you think this is going to be the gateway drug for you now for more video games?
Maybe. We'll see, man. I mean, honestly, just doing it, it really made me want to pull out my Nintendo Wii. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Just
sit in the closet.
Yeah, I got a Nintendo Wii with the kiddos. I thought that might be like the first kind of fun thing for them to play with. I still haven't really unboxed it, but yeah. I mean, the amount of hours I would play just Mario Kart. You remember Nintendo Wii with like the steering wheel?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We spent many an hour as adult human males playing Mario Kart still in the
just
studio.
the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fun question for you. So, Dispatch has this crew of people called the Phoenix program, right? They're sort of the Z team, and they're being dispatched to, go take care of crimes. If you could choose any of the superpowers of any of the members of the Phoenix program, which superpower would you choose and why?
I mean, there's Invisigo, who, just kind of turns invisible, and that's always fun. It's
pretty sick.
I always thought that would, kind of disappear and reappear. God, there's so many. I just love this group of misfits because it's really just a group of villains that are now sort of being reintroduced into society, trying to be good, and I have the job to, I play a guy who's a superhero, but his suit's been damaged in battle, and so he's sort of forced to work at this superhero dispatch office and try to keep them in line. So he's very frustrated. I'm just trying to think of other powers, but they're all fun,
Yeah.
What about you guys?
There was that like a vampire bat dude. I forget his name, but like he's like kind of like a human vampire bat looking dude. I feel like that'd be fun to do for a day.
For a day.
For a day.
I think you're missing. I think you have to have the power forever.
No, I don't want it forever. I mean, the main character,
not the deal, Blessing. This is not the deal we talked about.
I will say well, I guess this isn't part of the Phoenix program. I'm reaching outside the bounds of the question now. But there's a character, Chase, who has super speed, and I've always been a fan of super speed.
Yeah, super speed would be nice.
It does come with the caveat, though, of his character. The more he uses his power, the faster he ages.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's tough, but,
Blessing, as your elder here, and kind of funny. Don't take that power.
No?
Getting old sucks. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
There's also Alana Pierce's
worth it.
character, who Alana Pierce plays almost like a kind of like a big demon lady who's really cool.
Okay.
I forget what the powers are that comes with that, but even just the idea of walking around being like this intimidating.
Who doesn't want to be a big demon lady?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd just like to be above 6 feet.
Just for the height, I'll
Just
take
for
it
the
alone.
height, just it's alone. Aaron, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Before
thanks for the
Blessing,
well,
did you
I
have any
can't
more
believe
questions?
how fast that
No, that
was.
pretty much covers it for me.
That covers it for me as well. Before we let you go, I do have to ask you one last question. We have a coworker, Andy, who loves you. Specifically, loves your work in Breaking Bad, and he does a really bad impression of you.
Oh,
So if you wouldn't mind, could you please say, "Hey, Andy, you suck. Please stop doing this impression of me."
oh, of course. Hey, Andy, you suck. Okay, thank you for attempting, but it's embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself. But good luck to you. Lots of love, and that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
Perfect.
That was
Aaron.
perfect.
Thank you. That made my morning. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Awesome.
We appreciate you.
We'll let you go,
Lots
Aaron.
of love, boys.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, see ya.